You met someone at a party 3 months ago. They mispronounced your name and laughed at their own joke. You've had 6 good conversations with them since. You still think of them as the person from the party. Somewhere in your head is a file, and the first sentence in that file is doing all the work. This isn't about you being judgmental. Notice how it goes the other way too. You met someone who was warm and quick and interesting on day 1. 6 months later, they've been late, flaky, occasionally cruel. Your brain shrugs. They're having a rough patch. That's not really them. The first impression is still driving, which is strange. If you had a spreadsheet, 6 months of data, columns of behavior, evidence stacked, the answer would be obvious. But you don't run a spreadsheet on people. You run something else. And that something else weighted the first 15 minutes so heavily that everything after just looks like noise. Here's the mechanism, and it's not what you'd guess. Your brain isn't trying to know who someone is. It's trying, as fast as possible, to know whether they're safe, whether you can predict them. And once it has a working model, a story about who they are, every new piece of information gets fed through that story instead of updating it. Psychologists call this confirmation bias in a specific flavor. If the story says warm, a late arrival is busy. If the story says cold, the exact same late arrival is typical. The behavior didn't change. The file did the interpretation. So the first impression isn't a guess about the person. It's the frame every future observation gets hung inside. But here's the weirder part. Notice which first impressions stick hardest. It isn't the accurate ones. It's the ones that arrived with feeling. If someone made you laugh in the first minute, they get years of grace. If someone made you feel small in the first minute, they'll spend years trying to climb out. Your brain isn't remembering what they did. It's remembering how they made you feel about yourself when you were still figuring out how to stand, which means the file isn't really about them. Half of it is about you, about which version of you they caught in that first 15 minutes, and which version of you they made possible. That's why the evidence doesn't move you. Evidence would change your mind about them. But the file isn't really about them. It's about the version of you that met them. And that version of you closed the file the moment the room got quiet. So the question isn't why you can't update your first impression of someone. It's whether you ever really met them at all, or just met a mirror in the shape of them.